Let's do it. We're on. We're live. Right. Just quickly get myself ready. Do whatever I've got to do. Yeah. Let me know that you can hear me okay. That my mic's working. Yeah, where's that gone then? Seems to have disappeared. I have often walked down the street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. Oh, I need a drink. I need a drink. I'm getting hot as well. Whew. Take that off. Right, let's remove that. All right, mate. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Ian. Just sitting up. Just sitting up. Right, I'm gonna get a drink and I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna show some records. Oh yes. Oh. Hello. 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 Would you tell me your name? Hello. Hello. Would you tell me your name? Oh yeah, records. Oh, records. Oh, let's bring them over here. There's no easy way to do this. So I've had 2 weeks off work. I had a lot of time listening to records. And this week alone, I've listened to 30 records, over 30 records. Let's get back in the front of the camera. Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? 30 in a week. That's a lot of listening. How many records do you listen to? Or should I say, how many albums do you listen to per week? You know, normally for me, it's just, I don't know, maybe 10, you know, that'd be pushing it. Maybe, you know, handful maybe. But 30 albums? Right, let's have a look. Right, the albums I've been listening to, I'm still stuck in the 70s. Although there are a few 80s ones in here. So we'll have a look. Right, first one, Slade. Gave us a listen this week. It's not the first time I've heard this or any of these records, actually. I've played these records a good handful of times at least. But gave this one a spin this week. Classic Slade album. Such hits as Goodbye to Jane, Mama We're All Crazy Now. That's the only two really of the big hits I know. I think the others are deep cuts. But yeah, Slade. What year was that? 72. 72. Classic soundtrack, Saturday Night Fever. Gave it a listen. It's okay. I mean, I like the Bee Gees songs. You know, second side, I don't really. Was it the first side? Yeah, it's about even, I suppose. Even sides. I like the Bee Gees on both sides. Of course, the Tramps, Disco Inferno. It's an absolute classic track. But yeah, it's all right. Bit of fun. Sladist. Compilation of Slade. Hits such as Wild Winds Are Blowing, The Shape of Things to Come, People Who You Are, Polk Hill, One Way Hotel, Get Down and Get With It, Cause I Love You, Look What You Done, Take Me Back Home, Mama We're All Crazy Now, Goodbye to Jane, Look At Last Night, Come On Feel the Noise, and Squeeze Me, Please Me. What year was this then? What year was this? Doesn't say on the back of it. Let me know in the comments if you know. You're right, Fred. So what else? What else we listened to? Gave the Buddy Holly story soundtrack a listen. One of my favourite movies. If a top 20 would probably have that movie. Gary Busey, who played Buddy Holly, of course, 1979. And it's got hits such as Rave On, done by Gary Busey, of course, not by the original Buddy Holly. So it's all literally from the movie. It's So Easy, True Love Ways. We've got Clear Lake Melody, That'll Be the Day, Oh Boy, Peggy Sue, Maybe Baby, Not Fade Away, I'm Gonna Love You Too. Whole lot of shaking going on, which I think was done by who was supposed to be Eddie Cochran. Well, All Right, Listen to Me, Maybe Baby, Every Day, and we've got songs from the Roller Rink, which is at the introduction of the movie, Rock Around Ollie V, and That Would Be the Day. And there is another song which I always hoped they put on the soundtrack, but they didn't. And that was the first track they played at the roller rink scene. I can't think of the name of the song now, but I would like to have that on there, but they never did for some reason. It wasn't a proper Buddy Holly song, just like a cover, I think. But I always liked it. Right, moving on then. Black Sabbath, the greatest hits. This got played this week. And Paranoid, the first track. NIB, Changes, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Iron Man, Black Sabbath, War Pigs. Yeah, I mean, there's enough there, isn't there? There's enough to get your teeth into. So, anyone who's not familiar with Black Sabbath, which I'm sure many of you are, not a bad go-to for a first album. The greatest hits of Black Sabbath. I'm looking for a year on the back. Can't seem to see one. Never mind. Next album. I picked this up ages ago, this one. Charity Shop. And it is The History of the Hollies. It's 24 genuine top 30 hits. This plays all the Hollies hits from the very first release to what was the latest at the time. That goes through down the years, as you can see, 63, 64, 65, 66. Excuse me. 68, 69, 1970, 1971, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. So yeah, at the end there, one of them left. One of the Hollies members left. So yeah, Graham Nash left the band, and they weren't quite the same really after them. But I mean, they're still good, but kind of lost their edge a little bit. Played this one this week, the Bellamy Brothers, featuring Let Your Love Flow and others. Anyone own this album? Yeah, it's I only kind of really appreciate the hit on there, really, which is Let Your Love Flow. Satin Sheets, Nothing Heavy, Rainy, Windy, Sunshine. That could have been an album for Ian's thing yesterday. So yeah, we've got a song on here called Rainy, Windy, Sunshine. Let Fantasy Live. Let Fantasy Live, sorry. Highway 218, Hang On To Your Dreams. Side 2 is, of course, the big hit, Let Your Love Flow. The next track is Living in the West. I'm the only sane man left alive. Inside of My Guitar, and Hellcat. So yeah, there you go. Another album. Oh, I'm getting a dry throat. Not been very well this week, actually. I'm getting over COVID, but I'm not so bad now. But Monday I was awful. Bit of classical. Wagner. Highlights. This is like an immaculate record. It really is like minty. I can never put a year on it. I think it's from the 70s, but I might be wrong. Yeah, anyway, it's in my 70s a lot anyway. If it's not got a barcode on it, then generally it is 70s. Right, classic album by Rod Stewart, Atlantic Crossing. Another very near mint album. This is down from the charity shops for probably a quid or two. So yeah, such hits. I don't really get the record out. Go on then. Not familiar with anything of the first side, but of course don't want to talk about it. And Sailing, of course, were hits on the second side. So yeah, lovely, lovely, nice mint sleeve there. So yeah, not a bad album, not a bad album at all. Joe Walsh number, So What? I think it was £1 or £2 from Charity Shop, maybe a couple of years ago. That's pretty good actually. Quite enjoyed this album and his other one I have. There was another one somewhere. Can't see it. There it is. Pick this one up at the same time I picked the other one up, and that is I can't see the But Seriously. But Seriously, Folks. Yeah, picked that one up at the same time I found across that one. And I think there are a couple of quid or something like that. So yeah, another good album. Probably prefer this one actually. But Seriously, Folks, over So What. You're right, Mike. So another album. Take this to listen to this week. Captain and Tennille. Yeah, I know. What are you listening to that for? Well, this is the only one I've got of theirs, and I've always liked the song. Do That to Me One More Time. It's a nice song. Charity Shop Fine. This was probably about 3-4 years ago now. So yeah, it's not a bad album, and that's a nice track. That is. Do That to Me One More Time. Always liked it. I think that was 79, late 70s. This one Mike might appreciate. The Detective. I think they had a couple of albums in the 70s, and that was it. All it is self-titled Detective. Trying to look for a year, 1977. Quite good actually. Yeah, rock I'd say, under rock, classic rock. I have a 70s pressing of Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band, which I gave a listen to. I know it's a 60s album, but if it is a 70s press, then it is in the 70s collection. Yeah, classic album. One of, if not the best album of all time, I would say. Although I think recent opinions on it have changed over the recent years. It's not quite as favoured as it once was, regarding to like the Rolling Stone and things like that. Another Beatles album is thought as the best Beatles album, but for a long time this has always been regarded the best, and I regard this one as the best. Bit of jazz. Oscar Peterson plays Jeremy Kern, or Jerome Kern, on the NFP label, Music for Pleasure. So 50s recording on 70s vinyl on the Music to Pleasure, and it's always been considered a bit of a budget label, this Music for Pleasure thing, hasn't it? But the recordings and the quality is, just as good as anything else, and yeah, I like Oscar Peterson. Quite a few of these albums actually. One of my favourites from the 50s Pat Boone originals. I always prefer Pat Boone's actual originals over anything re-recorded, which he has done, and he has done a lot of re-recording of his songs over the sort of the 60s and the 50s. Sorry, 50s, 60s and the 70s. But like the originals are the best from the 50s and the early 60s, of course. And this has got 40 original songs on 2 discs. It's just a lovely, well done compilation. It says April Love, I'll Be Home. This is a lovely song. Friendly Persuasion is just a beautiful song written in the old English. And of course, Love Letters in the Sand, as well as many others. So yeah, Pat Boone, good old Pat Boone. He's still going strong now. Good to him. Good for him. There is an 80s album in the lot, and it's a good one. Prefab Sprout, from Langley Park to Memphis. Gave this a spin for the, I don't know, 5th time maybe. Good album, very good album. Recommend it. Yes, Ian, that's right. Yeah, I won it, didn't I? This is a recent purchase, actually. Both of these are actually. Supertramp, Even in the Quietest Moments. What year is this? Can't see a year. Can't seem to see a year. Don't know the year, but yeah, pick that up for probably less than £8. And of course, Supertramp, Crisis. What Crisis? Gave this a spin as well. And yeah, both good albums. 75 this one. The other one might have been later. That might have come out later. I have a feeling that it did. Gave Neil Diamond a spin. His greatest hits. Now, I always thought this was just greatest hits as in the actual original recordings, but it's actually a live album, which I didn't really know. I always assumed otherwise. Yeah, but these are actually live hits which were placed onto this compilation, and there is no telling you on the front or on the back that is the case. So it's a little bit of a you know misconception of what this actually is. Yeah, but yeah, Sweet Caroline. Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show, Shiloh, Holly Holly, Brooklyn Roads, Crackling Rose, Side 2, Play Me, Done Too Soon, Stones, Song Sung Blue, and I Am, I Said, of course, is the last track on here. It's okay. It's not bad. I like a few of them. I Am, I Said, I like. It's probably one of my favourites, and of course, Sweet Caroline. So not a bad. It's always, you always see it around in charity shops. This one, very common one to find, to come across that one. A bit of Nat King Cole and Sinatra here. Got Frank Sinatra. She Shot Me Down. So, and it's partly in the shrink still. When I picked these up a few years back, and they charity shop put all their bloody stickers all over them, and you can't get them off without wrecking the album cover. And I mean, I tried, but then it's left all this kind of stickiness, which like then it attaches itself to other records and things. So I had to put it in in this sleeve. Yeah, they just ruined them. I should have really just left them on there, but still, never mind. You know, I don't know why they do that, especially when they're not that kind of plasticky. You know, they got that just sort of, it's just cardboard with no protection, so it literally just tears all the print off and everything else. Two Nat King Coles, the best of Nat King Cole, and I'm trying to kind of put a year on this album. It's got a HMV price sticker of $2.99, but there's no barcode on the back, so I'm guessing this pressing is 70s, maybe late 70s, for $2.99, regarding the sort of going along with the price. I mean, it could be early 80s for $2.99, possibly. I don't know. What do you reckon? Obviously, it's not the original press. Not that I know about, but I mean, it looks dated. But yeah, nice compilation. Silky voice, isn't he, Frank Sinatra? Oh, sorry, Nat King Cole, but he doesn't sell. They often stay left alone in secondhand record shops and stuff. And of course, I've got Nat King Cole Volume 2 as well, which I picked up in the charity shop. In the same kind of style as the other one. So yeah, I gave these two a spin. Red Sails in the Sunset. That's a lovely old song on side 2. Red Sails in the Sunset, and It's All in the Game, of course, is a cover as well. The third track. Yeah, just nice. Just a nice, calming songs. You know, just beautifully sang. Of course, I showed this one. Not all the time. Okay, this I listen, and yeah, good album, very good album. All the time. What else do we have? Status Quo. Quo. Yeah, just called Quo. This is one of many Status Quo's albums that I have. I'm not sure that I have all of them, but I've got quite a few of them. Probably about 6, 7 Quo albums, I think, in the collection. I can remember when I came across these. I was in a second-hand shop in my hometown, and it was really it's one of them kind of junk shops, you know, where they just sell crap, but you get records and stuff go in there, but most of it's actually just crap. Don't have any kind of standards or anything. They just literally, stuff comes in and they literally chuck it on shelves without really, you know, caring too much about it. But I found about 5 Status Quo albums, and they're all sort of reasonable conditions, all going for 50p. So I thought, well, I'll take those, and you know, for 50p, I mean, you can't argue, can you? So yeah, about 5 albums for 50p, Status Quo. So yeah, I'll take that. The Hollies, one of my favourite bands, one of my favourite Manchester bands, and I think this album came out in the late 60s. Hollies Greatest, but I think this might be an original, but I also have Hollies Greatest Volume 2, which came out in the 70s, so that's why it's in my 70s a lot. So Yeah, I mean the recordings are they're a bit iffy. I've got to admit they're a bit put together at times. And I've always noticed that about Holly's music. I think there was a fire, and some of the original um, songs and music got burnt, and they sort of had to sort of do what they can to fix things. But I'm not quite sure when that was, um, but or if that was after these albums or during when these albums came out or whenever. But there are quite odd when you listen to them. You know, they kind of fly between one side of the stereo to the other, and they sound echoey at times or tinny at times. So yeah, something definitely happened there. So yeah, the Hollies, more Sinatra, Strangers in the Night, Frank Sinatra. I got a lot of Frank Sinatra. um, Strangers in the Night, Summer Wind, All or Nothing at All, Call Me, You're Driving Me Crazy, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, My Baby Just Cares for Me, Downtown, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, and The Most Beautiful Girl in the World being the very last track on there. Nice album. I love Sinatra. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I've got another one here as well. Frank Sinatra's greatest hits, the early years. So yeah, early years of greatest hits. Sort of, I don't know, the 40s and 50s stuff. Of course, his resurgence was in the 60s. And of course, he would have been 60s in his 60s in the 60s. And there's never been an artist to emulate that success in their 60s like Sinatra did. But yeah, all these sort of early ones, I'm not too familiar with them really. Some of the recordings are of better quality than others. Some of them are a bit kind of, you know, sound old and sort of scratchy and stuff. But it's not a bad comp. It's not a bad comp at all. I mean, if you pick it up cheap enough, and you like a bit of Sinatra, you know, it might be worth it. Right, a few more. Another Oscar Peterson here. Trio. Nils Pedersen and Joe Pass on here. And yeah, just a nice Oscar Peterson album, this one. I do like a bit of jazz. Yes, 73. Recorded at London House, Chicago, 1973. And it says 74 Pablo Records. So it was released in 74. So stereo, also playable in mono. Sounds a good record though. This was a reissue of Nat King Cole, George Shearing, Let There Be Love. So Nat King Cole plays and George Shearing, Nat King Cole sings and George Shearing plays Let There Be Love. And it's just a real nice, very clean record when I come across this in the charity shops. I thought, oh, that's good for an oldie. You know, that's very good. And it's a reissue, which I later learnt, which I was fine with. I still kept it. I've got the original as well somewhere in my collection from the 60s. The piano playing on the Let There Be Love, I mean, it's an absolute classic track, isn't it? That one from the 60s. Still gets played sometimes on the radio, and it's timeless, absolute timeless track. Frank Sinatra, A Man Alone, 70s release on the Reprise label, of course. Frank Sinatra's label. I don't think there's any hits off this here on this album. They're all kind of, you know, deep cuts, I think. But yeah, arranged and conducted by Don Costa, recorded in March 1969. It came out in the 70s. And finally, here, another Supertramp album, Crime of the Century. Great album. School, Bloody Well Right, Hiding Your Shell, Slim, Dreamer, Rudy, If Everyone Was Listening, and of course, Crime of the Century. So there you go, 30 plus albums which got spun and cleaned up a bit. And as well, I've brought quite a bit actually. Went to HMV and I've spent a good near £200 on records, which I'll be putting into a video in a number of weeks' time. And showing my latest and greatest new finds. I've got about 10 brand new albums to show. It's quite a lot, isn't it? You know, I might even pick a few more up. Who knows? God, my throat's so dry. I just sent the link out there now. If anyone wants to jump on, say hello, can do. Right. Yeah. Where is... You right, Ian?
Yeah. You got a frog in your throat?
Yeah. I'm still suffering a bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, you shared some good... You've been listening to some good stuff this week.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. All oldies.
Yeah. Hang on, I've got the other ones. Let's turn that one off. There we go. Oops.
You right, Mike?
Hiya.
How you doing? How you doing, Mike? You right?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some stuff to show as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this
Before
week.
you do, Ian, before I forget, you showed some great sort of Oscar Peterson there, didn't you?
I did.
And I can remember, it must have been late 70s, early 80s. He used to have a TV show on BBC.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it was, you know, very much a sort of jazz-based sort of program, you know, and he on, you know, people like Ella Fitzgerald will be on there, and
Yeah.
you know, all sorts of stuff. And he, you know, I seem to recall he played sort of like, you know, that there'd be sort of old clips as well as sort of you know, live people on live, you know, but
yeah,
it just brought that back to me. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
I'm sure the Fast Show based their jazz club on that.
quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, because it was very similar, wasn't it? I mean, my granddad used to watch that because he was into that sort of thing. So, well, one of my granddads was into jazz, the other wasn't.
Yeah.
My other granddad said it's 15 musicians all playing the same different tunes and call themselves a band.
Yeah. It can sound like that sometimes, can't it? You know?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got quite a few of his albums actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw what you were doing tonight, I thought, even I can remember what I've listened to after 3 o'clock, because that's my rule. When before 3 o'clock, I do my ranking stuff, and after 3 o'clock, it's Ian's time. So this is what I've listened to literally this week in the day after 3 o'clock. Well, I shared this last night, but of course, I've been listening to Parcel of Rogues this week again. It's a great album. I've shown this quite a lot, but I just love the covers, and it's got some really good little tracks on here. I mean, there's one we used them last night. It's also got the Bold Poachers on here. Robbery with Violins is just absolutely brilliant. Proper jiggy, isn't it? Yes, I've listened to that. Also, I've been listening to some Mike Oldfield.
Oh, cool.
His 1987 album, Islands. And yes, it's got a Bonnie Tyler track on it. But yeah, I hadn't spanned this for a little while, and I thought I'll put it on. It's an all right album. It's not my favourite, but I do like side one, and the wind chimes. Could have had that last night. Just thinking about.
Yeah.
That would have fitted in last night. It's not a bad album. What else have we listened to? Some ZZ Top. Their second album, Rio Grande Mud, came out in, I think, 1980. Just got Pays on here. Barbecue. Francine. Do love that. Okay. And there's a rarity here. Billy Gibbons without a beard. Doesn't happen very often.
No.
Yeah, it's a good album for one of their early albums. I've been listening to Quo this week.
Yeah. Oh, whatever you want. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah.
I love this album. I'm not going to
Yes.
say too much because it's coming up in a perfect time. But
No.
I have been listening to this quite extensively. Yeah, I do know, but I just wanted to make sure you have to with this album. I love the backpack picture myself, the old penguin.
Yes. It's a good album.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
album.
a bit random, isn't it? The penguin.
Yeah, it's a very good album. We've had a bit of David Bowie on.
Oh.
Yeah.
A bit of Hunky Dory. Good. Side one of this is great. I mean, it's got Changes, Pretty Things, Life on Mars. And it's got a song for, on the second side, you've got a song for Bob Dylan, Queen Bitch. Great album. Great cover. Look at them players. I had a pair of them once.
Yeah, baggers, eh?
Yeah. Also been listening to this. I put this out. I got this out literally yesterday to get for last night, and I put it on. Absolutely cracking songs on here. Youngblood, Rough and Ready. The proper version of Here I Go Again, may I ask. I got myself into an argument. Someone said that the US remix blows this out of the water. Really?
I doubt it.
Very much doubt it. The Americans can't cope with this bluesy stuff from Whitesnake. But that is an absolute belter album. I remember buying that summer of '83. Good summer. You'd be pleased to know, Simon, I listened to this week.
Oh, yeah. Classic. Tom Petty.
Bit of Tom Petty. My favourite song.
1989, that was.
Yeah, I brought this when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got Flashy since it includes I Won't Back Down, Running Down the Dream, which are two great.
The last one is a bit crap, isn't it?
Like Zombies are.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's what I call the last track on the album syndrome.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's a very, very good album.
Yeah, it is.
We've had a bit of Jean-Michel Jarre on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Shine. My favourite track on here is the Fishing Junks at Sunset. Mixes that traditional Chinese music, and then it evolves into this masterpiece. It's got some great stuff. But this people think Wham were the first to play in China. No, this man was. First Western artist to play in China was Jean-Michel Jarre. And obviously this week, I've had that on.
Oh, Killers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I had to add, and I had to put the best album that Paul Di'Anno did with Iron Maiden. It's just killer track after killer track. Rothschild, Murders in the Rue Morgue, Killers they're just some great drum, and The Brilliant Drifter.
Yeah. Is that an original, Ian?
Of course it is. Also, I've been listening to the Forgotten About Deep Purple album. Who Do We Think We Are? One with Ian Gill and Roger Glover before 1984. It's got Woman from Tokyo on it, and it's got the wonderful Mary Long. That song that's about Lord Longford. It's a character that's made out of names from Lord Longford and Mary Whitehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, someone doesn't like something. We all listen to different things. So what have you listened to then? Come on, there's your challenge. Yeah, a bit of Deep Purple. I love Rat Bat Blue on there as well. And the last one I've listened to in its whole entirety, Emerson, Lake and Palmer Works. I don't listen to it all the way through often. Because the first side, it's a bit of a pretentious album, but it has got some good tunes on. It's got Pirates and Fanfare, the full version of Fanfare for Common Man. So yeah, that's what I've listened to this week.
Yeah, good stuff, mate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. There's quite a few.
Yeah. I like to put some Fairy on when I've done my bits, you know.
Well, yeah.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should. Yeah. Do you want to see what I've been listening to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just dragged a few out that I'd already put away, but here's the first one, Ian.
Oh.
Right.
Nicely. Nice.
Yeah, compilation. So you've got a few Steelite band tracks on here. You've got Tim Hart, Muddy Pryor. You've got Martin Carthy on here. Tim Hart on his own. Yeah, Martin Carthy and Muddy Pryor. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
uh,
recommend that one then?
sorry.
You recommend that one then?
Oh yeah. There's Tim. There's a Tim Hart on here called "Dancing at Whitsun," which is an absolutely brilliant song.
Isn't that on one of the live albums? Because when they used to do,
I think it is. It's about a sort of an elderly woman sort of remembering her husband who had, died in the trenches in World War One.
yeah, I've heard that song. It's it's quite a moving song, isn't it?
Very, very much so. Yeah. Right. Bit of Canterbury sort of prog.
Calm. Wow.
Oh, Space Shanty. Do you know who was in it? Whose band this was?
It was Steve Hillages.
It was. And there you go. That's it. I always like a bit of Canterbury scene every now and then.
Little gem that is, hasn't it? That's a little gem of an album.
It is. I mean, Carn are sort of one of those bands that sort of get forgotten about. Probably because it was a short-lived project.
Yeah, I did do a ranking of that when I did my Steve Hillage story. So.
Oh yeah, yes, I think I remember. Yeah. This is a recent buy. Reckless Eric, Big Smash, on the Stiff label. So you got Whole Wide World on here, Semaphore Signals, And then there's a pop song as well, which is another single on this. And he's great, you know. He's he wasn't the punk, you know. He's sort of more of a sort of pub rocker, but he definitely belongs, you know, with the sort of 70s punk scene, I think. Yeah. Bit of post-punk. The Swell Maps, Trip to Marineville. This is not for everybody, I think. It's a bit, they're a bit experimental, you know, not very punk, but this is an original that I picked up recently, and it's in excellent condition, and it comes with a free.
I like that cover.
Yeah, I mean, what they did is sort of like the early versions of the album with the single that the band sort of did sort of different sort of hand drawn sort of covers for them, and you can see this is done by Joe Head. But yeah, it's quite good, isn't it? So that's Swell Maps. A new album that I bought just come out this last week. You know, public service broadcasting, the Kings of the Concept album now, The Last Flight, and this is all about Amelia Earhart and her last flight, her attempt to fly around, be the first woman to fly around the world.
Yeah, that'll be a good. Is it a good listen?
It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's the usual stuff. I mean, you've got some lovely sort of female vocals on this as well. So who have we got? So somebody called Andrea Casablanca, who I didn't know. And then there's This Is the Kit. I've got one. Singer called Era. She's really good. But it's also got the sort of, you know, the newsreel sort of soundtracks, you know. That sort of,
when bands do that, I think it's
and it tells a story. You know, yeah. you get the whole story, and it's absolutely brilliant. As I say, you know, on the inside you've got the sort of
the route and that's
the route, and it sort of abruptly ends sort of in the Pacific there, you know. And you know, they never found her body.
Did they?
Yeah, she disappeared, I think, 1937, and she was, you know, declared dead in 1939, I think. But it's a great album, you know. It tells the story, and it's great music as usual from them. Now, it was National Album Day last Saturday, and normally I can't be asked, you know, quite honestly, but there's an album that I've been looking for an original of this album for such a long time. It's not their best album, but it's an album that I needed to sort of complete on them, and it's Susie and the Banshees. It's Through the Looking Glass, you know, the covers album.
That's quite cool.
Yeah,
it's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah, so I'll take the. But the thing is, I put a sort of rice paper sort of thing in, so you can't sort of see. But the album itself, it's sort of got a window.
It's a take on the original cover, isn't it? Really?
That's right. Yeah, it's faithful to the original packaging, you know. And I've just been looking for this for so long, and you know, it was there, you know, National Album Day, and I thought, well, why not? Why not? Right, now I've got two more albums to show you, and then there's a couple of albums I've listened to today online, which were recommendations.
Sure.
And I'll tell you what I thought about them. Right, first album. This was something that Michael Ricefield, you know, recommended to us.
Oh yeah. I think I was showing that.
Laura Nero, she's absolutely brilliant, I think.
Yeah, it's the album Smile. And quite honestly, she was just about unknown in the UK, wasn't she?
No,
Yeah.
not
You know,
very.
growing up, I mean, growing up in 70s and 80s, I had no idea that she existed. But she's an absolutely fantastic singer-songwriter, and I listened to some of these online after Michael showed them some albums a few months ago, and I'd listened online, thought it was great, and then Berwickshire Mike sent me 3 of her albums, so that was good. You don't really see them very much out in the wild in the UK.
I think it's one of them that there's another chance, but the beauty of it, there is a lot of her stuff on streaming, so it's not like you cannot listen to it.
Yeah, that's right. But she's just one of those things. It's a sort of an unknown gem, in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you hadn't got Carole King and Joni Mitchell and Linda Ronstadt, I think she may have. But there was, I think that period, that early 70s, there were so many good female singer-songwriters.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why it is.
Yeah, and I think she's up there. She's up there.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just surprised I never heard of her.
Yeah.
Right, and then Bloodwing Pig. That was my challenge. When we went down the rabbit hole, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I picked this up at Record Fair last month. Bloodwing Pig. The Head Rings Out, the debut album, and this is really, really nice sort of blues rock. So there were two recommendations from Michael that really hit the spot with me. Now last night Michael was talking about Todd Rundgren, and I know we have a lot of fun with Michael over Todd, don't we?
We do.
And he said, well, Mike, you're probably like Todd's album, A Wizard, A True Star. So I listened to it today, and it doesn't really do it for me. There are bits of it that are fine, but it's just the whole construction of the album is really weird. So you start off with a track, probably about 2 or 3 minutes long, and then it's followed by 6 tracks, all under 2 minutes long, and they're all very different. And it was like he hadn't decided what sort of album he was going to make. And some of the stuff is quite proggy, and so some of it kind of reminded me a little bit of sort of maybe sort of Supertramp does Frank Zappa. It's bit, it had that kind of prog leanings that Supertramp have, but also the sort of like, the kind of more sort of jazzy sort of feel to it.
Yeah, I found when I was listening for the ranking, there wasn't one album that I could sit and listen all the way through.
Yeah,
there's not.
Well, this is exactly it, Ian, and sort of like, so you've got these 6 tracks that are all less than 2 minutes long, and they're all very different to each other.
Bitty.
And then it goes into a 10-minute medley, and the medley is a complete mishmash. It doesn't hold together. It's just 4 separate songs that he's played without a break. And there's nothing that it doesn't really hold together for me at all. And then there's quite a good sort of rock track. I think second to last track, and I can't remember what it was called now. But that was that was a hit for me on there. But there were parts of it that were good, but too much of it, I just no, not for me. So that was. So with the 3 recommendations, Michael, it's 2 out of 3 ain't bad, is it?
No.
But then I listened to another album that was recommended, and this comes from Ben Rankins, down in Melbourne, and it's a Queensland garage band. They've produced just 1 album, and the longest track on the album is 2 minutes 4 seconds.
Wow.
There's a few tracks under 1 minute, and it's a band called Rick and the Sickos. Only in Australia, I think.
Yeah.
You know, well, a band have that name, but you know, the band name tells you all you need to know. I would imagine that it's not to everyone's taste, but I thought it was absolutely brilliant. You know, garage punk, garage rock, really loud and noisy. And I mean, there's a track on there that's just called "Shit the Bed." What? But yeah, it's an album that I think I'll try and get hold of. You know, but
listen to that.
That's what I've been listening to anyway, guys.
Can you give it? Text me the name of it at some stage.
What the album?
Yeah, so because I'm not going to remember the name. Just give a text.
Yeah, well, the band are called Rick and the Sickos.
Rick and Sickos.
So it's Rick, and then instead of and, it's just an N, and the Sickos.
Oh, that's easy.
And it's a self-titled album. It's all
Okay,
they've done.
I'll remember the Rick and Sickos. Yeah, I'll give that a listen myself.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But that's what I've been listening to in the last few days.
Got a few albums there, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, most of them aren't sort of new albums for me, but you know, probably about half of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, I don't know if has anybody bought a collection of singles that certainly aren't for me, but I thought of you, Simon, and that's the Oasis, Definitely Maybe, 4 singles in a box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What, you come across it? You mean, or
somebody we know showed it on their channel,
right?
And they've had about 20 views, if that's a clue.
No,
Yeah. You know, don't you? You know what I mean.
Hang on,
Yeah.
That'll
yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I just thought, you know, that I hadn't heard you mention it, and I thought, well, that would have been something that would have been up your street.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. You know, can't have everything, can you?
Well, exactly.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do like singles, but I tend to buy albums more than singles. You know, I tend to appreciate them more. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I love singles. I love buying singles, particularly sort of like, you know, filling all the gaps in my my collection of punk. Yeah, it can be a bit of a pain, you know, when you're getting up every 2 or 3 minutes to put another one on.
It's true. Yeah, you have to be in sort of right sort of mood for it, don't you? You know,
singles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for keep fit though, isn't it?
You know, getting up and down.
Keeps you on the move. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no good if you're doing something, is it?
No. If I'm doing something, I prefer to put a CD on, or just stream stuff.
You feel like a DJ, don't you, when you start doing it? You know.
Yeah.
Sort of naming who wants to I take requests anyone, you know, and start playing songs.
Yeah.
What the kids want and what the wife wants.
Oh yeah. I know. It's never what you want, though, is it?
No.
No, I think when I'm up in Leeds again, I think I'm gonna have a bit of a purge on that singles stall. I think.
Yeah. Well, he certainly had plenty there, didn't they?
Yeah.
But we'll make time. We'll make time and make sure we've got a bit of cash left after the record fair.
After the record fair and go down.
Yeah.
I've already spent about 200 quid on vinyl.
Whoa.
A couple of weeks. Yeah. A lot on it.
Yeah, but you have had a a voucher.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. You had an HMV voucher.
Yeah, that's nice. Because that takes me back. I used to, used to get record tokens for
Yeah.
birthday and Christmas.
You remember when
They'd either be Smiths or Boots, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, people used to get me Boots vouchers. I mean, what can you buy in Boots?
Yeah.
But luckily, in the day, they had a good record shop department, and they had booths still.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, where I grew up, there was a good record department in Boots.
Yeah, it was downstairs. It was a proper,
Yeah.
All the chemist stuff was upstairs, and then down in the depths of the shop, there was this huge record department, and it was brilliant. That had about 10 or 11 booths right round the edge, so you could go and you go sit in your booth and listen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a shop within a shop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you say that Boots used to have their own like music and DVDs section, didn't they, in the shops?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Years ago.
They don't now. Not the one. Well, the one in Northampton it's terrible. It just doesn't sell anything except expensive cosmetics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Boots up here in Leeds. I mean, it's a big store, but
and you get when you walk in, you get the flashes of all the different scents from the different stalls, and it's horrible.
Yeah. I know. Always makes me sneeze, But yeah, I'll never go in there. I'll never.
No. If it doesn't sell records, it's not worth going in my books.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I go into town and it's like I can buy records. Or
when I was at school, when I walked home, we used to have a shop. It wasn't in town, but it used to sell records. So every once a week, you'd on the way home from school, you'd go in the record shop, take pocket money and pick up the odd single from the bargain bucket because it was only 20p.
Yeah. Used to have that, and in Woolies, do you remember? They used to sell a lot of sort of bargain singles. These singles. I mean, Nick shows some of these singles because they're really, really good. The old gold ones. Yeah. So you've normally got sort of like a single with 2 hits on it. And they used to sell those in Woolworths, along with the sort of Music for Pleasure albums and the Top of the Pops albums.
Yeah, I got I think I've got Wigwam Bam and Ballroom Blitz on one of them double A side.
Yeah, I've got a sweet one of those, but it might be the same one. Yeah,
I think I've got a Mud one as well.
Yeah, but they were good value, weren't we?
Yeah, old gold came from Smiths. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Was it Smiths?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought it was Woolies, but there you go. Yeah.
It's this shop. If they dropped out the top 40, that's when they ended up in the 23 bucket. Yeah. So you would watch. Well, you didn't know, you had to look in the NME to see what had dropped out the top 40.
Yeah. And then hope they had some left over. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go to the. It was a bin, literally a bin. You'd flick through it. Yeah, we'll have that one, that one, that one.
Yeah.
On that, no one was buying anything that was in the charts, so they stopped the buggers. But yeah, they because wherever they caught on that we was all buying stuff that was for 20 pence.
Yeah.
For 99 pence.
Yeah, that's right.
You're getting 5 singles for £1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
So
not Tom.
yeah, I mean that's it. It was always really really good value, wasn't it? You know that you know if you were prepared to wait. And I mean, quite honestly, I mean, you know, back in the early 70s, you know, I was buying records on pocket money, so you know, I couldn't really afford to buy many singles. Certainly couldn't afford to buy many albums.
No, I didn't get many. You know, as I was growing up, it was just mostly singles because
Yeah.
you know you can't afford albums. You only got Christmas, or you got a voucher. You'd go and buy an album.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But birthday and Christmas, you get you know, you get record tokens, or you know, your grandma will put a 10 bob note in a birthday card. You know.
You could buy at least. You go, oh, there's another album.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was my 18th, I got loads of tokens and money.
Yeah.
I spent most of it on records, much to my mum's disgust.
Yeah. I was the same. I was the same. You know, sort of like at about that age, about sort of like from about 16, 17 years old, sort of through to sort of early 20s. You know, most of my money went on records and underage drinking.
Yeah, I mean, my mum says, well, said to my nan, I thought he'd have brought some clothes or anything. And she says, why are you going to buy clothes when you buy it for his birthday?
Yeah. Oh, poor old Nick. Satsumas and Brazil nuts. You were lucky to get Brazil nuts, mate. They were the expensive ones.
You could never get into them. I've broken many a nutcracker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the nutcrackers now are made of this plastic, so I daren't buy a nutcracker because I'd break it.
Yeah. But that was it, wasn't it? I mean, Christmas time, you know, you'd always get, you know, a bowl of nuts, and then one of those packets of dates, you know, where you got the sort of like the full.
Oh, dates! Yeah. I never could get on with it.
Of the pack, it was a sort of long. Yeah. No, me neither. Never. Never liked them. You know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just. Yeah. But you know, I mean, that's it. I mean, times have changed, and one thing that used to get when I was, you know, in the 60s, when I was quite young. Do you remember sort of like selection boxes?
Yeah.
You know, where you get sort of like, you know, a kind of selection of different sweets. I used to do a sort of a young smokers kit. So you'd get like chocolate cigarettes, those sweet cigarettes, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Licorice pipe, yeah. And some sort of weird stuff that was meant to be tobacco. And it was all wrapped up in sort of like real cigarettes and tobacco, you know, for the under fives, you know.
Well, it used to be able to buy machine guns.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, when I was 6 or 7, I was really into cowboys.
Yeah.
Or into Western sort of thing. So for one Christmas, I had a proper cowboy, and this Colt 45 that, you know, and instead of putting paper caps in, it had the round ones which you opened up the gun.
Yeah.
The reel, and you could spin the reel round and go.
All right. So it wasn't just a roll of caps on.
No, it was proper. There were
Right.
caps in a little circle.
Yeah. All right.
And the other thing we had the same year. I had this. It's like a gun with rubber bullets, and they have these bottles in 3 bits. You could set them up at the end of the lounge and go.
I had one of those. Yeah, because the sort of bottle was sort of like had sort of springs in it, didn't it?
Yeah,
So if you hit it, it would sort of like,
explode.
blast apart, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what we used to sit and do that on on that Christmas. Everybody was playing with
Yeah.
rifle.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They were going, these little rubber things were going all over the bloody place.
Yeah.
That now, could you?
Those were the days, eh?
And then one Christmas, we got our first computer game,
Yeah.
ping pong in black and white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you plug it into the telly, wouldn't you?
You couldn't get it in colour. It was a black and white. And you thought it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Pong, that was the first, the first computer game, wasn't it? But sometimes it would sort of get stuck, wouldn't it? So there'll be that bit at the bottom of the screen where you couldn't quite get your pad down, and it would, and you just couldn't play anymore, So you had to reset it, yeah.
And the thing is, when all my mates knew we'd got this game, let's pile round, And then all went up.
Yeah. It was it was state of the art.
It was, and then when we got upgraded to when they first the colour one, it got upgraded, and you got a shooting thing on it. You got the gun that you plugged in, and you had to follow that dot round and try and shoot it.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you thought you was.
Yeah. I know it was great, and then round the pubs. Do you remember the Space Invaders machine?
Yeah.
My mum and dad one of those.
Yeah.
Actual arcade. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
My dad put so much money into it just to get to the top score and beat everyone, Really loved it.
Competitive dad done.
Yeah, and he ended up playing it more than anyone else,
Yeah.
Well, you sing it. I mean, I must have had all the classic games. Kaplunk, Buckaroo, Mousetrap, Twister.
Yeah. Dev Operation.
Oh, I did, yeah. I've still got some of the board games. Well, I went and got them again that I had. I've got Cold Hits. I've got Go for Broke. I've got Topoly. I've got the Topoly is actually an original.
So your version of Cold Hits, is it the politically correct one, or is it the original?
The original.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, with swastika everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So they changed, didn't they? Was it to a German eagle or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's the proper.
Yeah.
Mine's the proper one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard McCook says Christmas wasn't Christmas without the Beano, Beezer, and Topper annuals. No.
Oh yeah, and you'd always get a free gift in the Christmas, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have the Beano every year.
I used to get Dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up to Dundee, and there's a picture of me standing next to Desperate Dan because where they were done up in Dundee, there's a statue of Dennis the Menace, Minnie the Minx, and Desperate Dan.
Yeah.
Went in the pub at lunchtime, and you know what they had on the menu? Cow pie.
Yeah.
It's just basically a steak pie, but they put it down as cow pie.
Yeah.
Two horns sticking out of it.
Yeah, did it have the horns coming out the face string?
Yeah, little plastic ones. Absolutely brilliant.
Talking of Dandy.
Yeah.
Well, here, look.
Oh, cool.
This was dated. Like big. This is the very first one I ever brought as a kid. I was about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Dated April 25th, 1992.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. 28.
Yeah.
Of course.
So is it Dennis? Oh, it's
Desperate Dan.
down on the back. Yeah,
And you forget about all the other characters, don't you? Like when you start opening these up,
yeah.
you know, can't really show it very well.
They were really colourful, weren't they, as well?
Yeah, I mean, the artwork's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So is that Minnie the Minx?
No, that's.
Oh, yeah. Minnie the Minx was in Beano, wasn't she?
Beano, yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of a similar kind of characters, but
yeah,
you know, change things around, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, when my mate was 21, we had to go as a comic character. So I hired a Dennis the Menace.
You remember this one, don't you?
Oh, yeah. yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Did you used to buy Viz?
When it first came out, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's from up in the northeast, wasn't it? Yeah, Viz Comics. I mean, they really,
push the
they really
boundaries.
knew how to parody the kids' comics, didn't they?
Yeah, there was one. I think it was in Sparky, and it was about people that lived in a TV.
Right.
Guy would switch on the TV, and then we had to act out what we put on the TV. I used to like the Bash Street Kids.
Yeah.
That's Beano, wasn't it?
Changed it now to make it more inclusive.
All right.
Yeah, and they're not called the Fatso and all that. They're all changed.
Plug, wasn't it? One of them.
Pug, yeah, he's gone. I think.
Yeah. Well.
Grimsby childhood.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts.
No. Well, that had Biff of the Bear, didn't it? Beano. Was he in Beano?
I think they still do it, don't they? The comics, but they're online, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not having a comic, is it?
It's not. No.
No, it's not the same at all. It's what I mean. They've the some of the stuff, the sort of the old sort of TV shows, and they've updated them. It's like Thunderbirds is now a sort of kind of CGI sort of animation thing, isn't it?
I don't want to know. Give me the Jerry Anderson. I still watch Jerry Anderson stuff. I mean,
So do I.
It's on ITVX, and they're all on there.
Yeah. Do you know what? Years ago, years and years ago, I was at some sort of event, sort of away from home with work, and we sort of we finished for the day, and then we all agreed to sort of meet down in the bar at a certain time, and I just had the sort of had telly on in the sort of hotel room, and it was Thunderbirds. And I thought, well, I'm not going down to the bar until I find out how this one ends. So I watched it. I was about a quarter of an hour late, and there were a few other people hadn't turned up either. And so what happened to you? So Thunderbirds was on. Wanted to see how it ended. And this is all grown men.
Yeah,
It stays with you, doesn't it? Dennis has blonde hair. No.
yeah. I used to have Looking as well, because it was all full of pop people, and they used to, there was Mark Bolan was in it a lot. Elvin Stardust.
Yeah.
A certain chap called Gary.
Yeah. I mean, Looking tried to be a bit sort of like educational, didn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Get these sort of cutaway drawings of sort of aircraft and stuff like that. Where they tell you how it works.
In it on the buses. Yeah, it was not too bad, I suppose. 2000 AD. Yeah, I used to have that when it first came out.
No,
It
no,
was
I'm a bit. I think it's a bit sort of older than you, so I think it was. It didn't come out until I was sort of, probably in my 20s. So I missed out on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I used to have, and it was them. You remember the little War Commando books?
Oh, they were good, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in hospital when I was in hospital for 3 months, my nan went to I think she went to a jumble sale or something, and she got a whole stack.
Yeah.
She says that'll keep you busy.
Yeah.
And then she started buying them for me as well. So
yeah, they were great. About 50 pages. Well, about 50 pages long.
The stories were really gritty, proper.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah, but great illustration on the covers as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And you'd get Schnell. That's the only German words I knew then was Schnell, Achtung, Hansi.
Yeah, it was like, for you, Tommy, the war is over.
He really used to read Bunty. Yeah, we didn't have that in our house because we didn't have no girls. My cousin used to read it, though.
Yeah.
But she also had look in because she was a Bay City. My cousin was a proper Bay City Roller fan. She's a year older than me. So she had the tartan scarf, the tartan jeans. Only because my auntie was as mad on Bay City Rollers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my auntie was a proper glam rocker. She loved Mark and Bowie and Susie.
Yeah. Yeah, there were people, weren't there? I mean, I think David Bowie and Mark Bolan was sort of crossover, weren't they? That boys liked them, girls liked them. Yeah. But then you'd have bands like Slade that were sort of really mainly boys. I think were fans of Slade, and then of course you get Donny Osmond, David Cassidy.
Very girly, but you listen to some of them David Cassidy songs now, and you go, they're not actually that bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, David Essex was sort of marketed as a sort of, singer for sort of teenage girls, wasn't he? Initially.
I liked David Essex when I was a kid. I mean, I love Rock On. I think that's just brilliant.
Yeah, Rock On, and Beat Your Star.
Yeah, he's still going now. He's still.
I know he is. Yeah.
Apparently, he has been in the West End version of War of the Worlds, but not as the artillery man. He plays the voice of conscience, like Chris Thompson's part.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know because obviously I listened this week on him, and I was doing a bit of research, and I didn't realise he was on the original War of the Worlds album, of course, and he actually performed the West End with it as well.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, I liked him on the War of the Worlds with his brave world building go to the seaside under the ground. That was bizarre. Yeah,
War of the Worlds is a good album, isn't it?
It's a fantastic album.
It's another one that it really tells the story, doesn't it? As well as being great music.
Yeah, I've got on Audible. It's gone the other. It's very It's a play, but the music in the play is Jeff Wayne's music.
All right.
So you've got, they're on Horsell Common, you got the music, and so they've done it the other way. They've done it way, but they've adapted the Jeff Wayne into it. It's brilliant. It's a great thing to listen to.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed. And that's
Yeah.
on Audible.
It's on Audible, yeah.
All right, I've got that, so I might.
Yeah, that's where I got mine from.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just fantastic. Something I like to listen to at night. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I quite like audiobooks, you know, time to time. Find it quite relaxing.
Yeah, I've got some really good ones.
Yeah.
The last one I brought was Brian Johnson of AC/DC's. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Right.
I mean, I've got the Tony Iommi one, and it's read by Bev Bevan. He's all he did. I don't want to read it because they're obviously Bev and Tony are great mates.
Yeah.
Will you read my book? Yeah, I'll read your book. The other one that's a brilliant list, and that's Dave Hill's autobiography.
Right.
You know how Dave Hill rambles?
Yeah.
He does it in this. He's off script. Half of that's off script, you know.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah.
He actually brings in bits. It's like
I've never read any Slade biographies at all. You know, by any of them. Yeah.
It's brilliant. There's the bit where when he brought that house next to the girls' school.
Oh yeah, there's a great bit of TV footage, isn't there?
Yeah. But he explains it in the book. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, chaps, I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to keep a short live stream today. So yeah, until next week then. You'll be doing your live stream as usual then Thursday?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
well, Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the spooky one.
Yes, the spooky one. Yeah. So it's what, 10? Is it 10 records or just
10
up to 10, isn't it?
Yeah, maximum of 10 of showing, you know, the usual thing in the title, in the lyric. The more inventive, the better, really.
Yeah.
And lots of, before we get all them doubles and triples I got in yesterday, they were
Yeah. It seems that everybody has a song about the weather, don't they?
Yeah. And of course, the most important thing, Sunday when it goes out, our video with Richard.
Yes.
Oh, what are you doing?
Songs that we think should have been at #1 in the 2000s.
Oh yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
We're recording it tomorrow night, so it'll be up on my channel, and I'm sure Simon will put it in his community, so you guys can watch it as well.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I'll be with.
So yeah. So stay tuned for those then, and till next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I've had fun.
See you. Bye.
Bye.